Ellen, it's good to have Craig St. Clair back with us
Yes.
tonight.
Thank you. Good to be here. Good to be here and be seen.
Following a long absence. We met Craig many years ago at Dunn Brothers Coffee House in Addison.
That was like in late December of 2004, I think it was, because Randy and I had our first date November of 2004, and we had been together
about a month
long.
after that.
Yeah.
Still together, too.
I know. I even married your ass.
How about that? How about that? And you get the rest of me as a part of the package.
I know.
That's it. In the meantime, we got Craig St. Clair here.
Yes, we
quit
do.
talking about my ass. Okay.
Okay.
So we got to stop that.
Yeah, and I have a lot of fond memories of Dunn Brothers.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of years hosting an open mic. There was a guy that hosted an open mic the year before that, 2003 into 2004, at the Balcony Club at the old Granada Theater.
Brian?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Brian
Terrell?
Terrell, yeah.
Yep.
And he did it for about a year, and then he told DSE, he said, I'm not going to be able to do it anymore. I've got obligations, other stuff I'm going to have to do. And so I said, well, let's move it someplace that's a little closer to home. I didn't want to drive to.
Yeah, because you were in Carrollton, or right up there by
yeah.
Carrollton.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to drive to the other end of the world to do an open mic. And so we talked to the people at Dunn Brothers. Actually, we have a connection. They lived on the same street we did.
Oh, really?
On the other side of Kelly Boulevard.
Yeah.
On Harbinger up there in North Dallas. TC.
I started to say TC had a connection with
TC
him.
and Royce,
Yeah.
Alan's son, are the same age, played on some all-star baseball teams and soccer
TC
teams.
is Craig's son. by the way.
Yes.
And to tell the truth, they had a pool. That's why I was there all
Yeah. So he used to go down the street to where the people had a pool and would go over there and swim with Royce. And they had boxers, and we had boxers. So, there was a lot of kind of common ground there.
Right.
With us and the
The
Giddies.
only difference between my family is we were boxers.
Yeah.
So that was the only
Yeah,
difference. Still
whatever.
box.
Shut up, Randy. Full of crap.
Craig, I remember one of my favorite times of just the whole number of things that we did was the thing we did up in Missouri a couple of times with Drury University and Brian Shipman. Here's a shout out to Brian.
Yep. Hey, Brian.
That little baby boy that he had there that first year is
Carter.
Now,
Yeah.
Carter's what now?
Oh, he's grown.
He's 13.
Yeah, he's
13
a
or
teenager.
15 or
Yeah,
something.
and he was
Yeah.
literally infant at that
Yeah.
time. So, but we got some great films up there, and
Yeah, and I still show those.
Good.
they were such fun.
Where I teach school, like I showed a couple of them this morning. For the students to get to know me, they want us to do a PowerPoint and kind of tell them where we've been in our career. And
Now, talk about what you do. What are you talking about now? You teach, but
I
what do you
teach
teach?
diesel technologies.
There you go.
Teach technicians that are not technicians to become technicians, entry-level technicians. And at Lincoln Tech, we'll get a plug-in for the school.
All right.
But I get between 15 and 20 students every 20 days. So ours turns over every 20 days. We'll have a specific discipline like diesel engines that we'll take a diesel engine apart and put it back together.
And you're still
every
doing
20
that?
days. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you showed your students the film at Drury
Yeah.
so they could get to know that other side of
That
you.
other side, yeah.
Yeah.
I always put it up there and I say, okay, see if there's somebody you recognize, because I've had facial hair and short hair, and I'm a little bit older than I was back then, but
Oh, you still look young to
yeah.
me.
Yeah, we're
looks
hanging
same
in
to
there.
me.
We all be hanging in there.
but I ask them if they see anybody they recognize, and I usually play Ruin My Day and The Cars We Drive.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
these are automotive and diesel students, and so we have a little discussion about. Everybody remembers the first car that they ever drove,
Right.
whether it was mom and dad's or the first one you bought. And so the Cars We Drive is kind of like places in your life, things that you remember doing, and you remember what car you were driving. When
Right.
And
did
you
that.
can find those songs on Craig's webpage at www.inthemusicroom.com. Those
Yeah.
songs are there
Yep.
that we've recorded here.
They're also under Words and Music by Craig St. Clair. I think that's the way I search them. And there's some other ones. There's a video on there from the Bluebonnet Festival.
Oh,
When I did More to Love and Harold sitting down there playing the sax,
I
you
was
can
thinking-
hear him, and the only panned over and showed him one time during that whole song.
I was thinking about, we played Bluebonnet festivals, Chili festivals,
Chili Pepperama, the
Chili
Plano
Pepperama.
Balloon Festival.
We opened for Terry Hendricks one time over in
Irving.
that in where Useless.
Useless.
In Useless. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys.
Well,
Sorry, Lloyd.
and I've gotten other gigs through our association when I started playing in that country cover band, Desert Moon. They actually came and saw me play bass with you one Saturday night at Dunn Brothers.
This guy's a mad bass player and
Yes,
harmony
he
singer.
is.
Oh my God.
So
So
that's how.
Multi-talented
Yes,
man.
he is.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, he is. When we were at Dunn Brothers, there's some funny stuff that sticks out. One of them is just Harold playing with everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, like when he first started, everybody's like, "Well, do we really want him to play?" And it's like, "Well, we can't really."
You
stop
don't have
him.
a choice.
He brought that saxophone, and he considered an open mic.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I never saw anybody, it didn't matter what kind of music they played. But one of the funniest things that I remember that ever happened up there was when CJ took her prayer chain out the parking lot. Had everybody in the place when it closed down out holding hands and dancing.
Holding hands in the
You
parking
know,
lot.
those poor employees hated our guts once a month on a Saturday night because, you know, we were
It
supposed
was
to
kind of
play.
late at night.
It
Got out
was.
there a few times late.
Yeah.
A few times real late.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Good memories, though, you know? Really good
Well,
memories.
we went to Austin and played is that the Unicorn or the whatever it was that
What was it that we did
Debbie
down there?
watched it on the internet. They were
that was
taping.
at BB Rovers when they were live streaming.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember
that's
that
when
well.
Helen,
yeah, I
Helen
remember.
remembers it because I played her song in the wrong key and,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't stop.
And he wouldn't start over. He made me sing in the
key
wrong
'cause we
key.
were
I'm like,
live.
oh my God.
She said, "You're in the wrong key." I said,
I know.
I
Just keep
said,
singing.
Start over.
She did it
No.
perfect. She did it so good. I think she should be doing it in that key all
Shut up, Randy. Oh, Lord.
Faux pas.
Ah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right.
Oh, the Placious.
I remember stories that happened in that in the thing.
Yes.
I won't tell.
Yeah.
I won't tell with this thing.
Yeah, and some of
rolling.
my other family, my sister and brother-in-law were living in Bay City or Baytown
Yeah.
or someplace down there that was reasonable driving distance.
Yeah.
And they came over that evening.
Yeah.
And ate.
Mudcat was a funny man down there.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was. He was funny.
He was.
God.
He was, I won't say what it was. He
yeah.
was funny. Let's
He
put
was
it that way.
funny. No doubt.
He had reason
no
to
doubt.
be funny.
So tell us what you've been up to. I understand you're now living in Venus. You got out of the
Okay.
city, kind of went out in the country.
Yeah.
Tell us about
We're
that.
about 5 miles south of Venus, out kind of where the big power plant is that you can see from 67.
Uh-huh.
And we had been looking for something for several years, and we would kind of start looking, and then either something would happen or we just would get tired of looking and, didn't really find what we were looking for. And we did that about 2 or 3 different times over a period of about 5 years. Mm-hmm. And this time we were dead serious, or at least serious, that we were going to get out of North Dallas and move out someplace with more trees than people. And so we did, and we live on V.V. Jones. Don't come to my house, but we live on V.V. Jones. And Debbie has asked everybody and Googled it, and nobody knows what who V.V. Jones was.
Huh.
So
It comes up Jones Road if you look it up.
yeah, but it's and my brother-in-law said, well, maybe it used to be a W and it got messed up and it looks like VV. So
Well, that could make sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Victoria
Yeah.
is what she stands for, whatever you want it to stand
That's
for. I guess.
right.
Victor Victoria's Secret.
Well, we're so glad that you could join us in. You're in Johnson County,
No,
right?
we're in Ellis
You're
County.
in Ellis, okay.
Boy, you're barely in
About
Ellis County.
a stone's throw from the
Okay.
Johnson County line.
That's like, I think Gene and Barbara are they're probably a few hundred yards from the Dallas County line back there. Yeah, into your neighborhood on the other end.
Yeah. But we're the people that live 2 places over from us, and these are all 2-acre places
Right.
out there. And so 4 acres away is Johnson County. and the city of Venus is in Johnson County, but we're just in the edge of Ellis County.
All right.
That's good.
So,
That's good.
Well, we're glad you're down here.
yeah.
We need to get together more often.
Yes, we do.
They definitely need to be down here with us more often.
Oh,
Now we
yeah.
have our own pool and the son stays at home.
Oh.
But we also have a nice music room that's and this was one of the things that kind of when we saw this place, and it's a big double wide, so it's not real fancy, but it's big, and
You got room.
it got a lot of room.
Yeah.
And our little place up in North Dallas, you couldn't hardly have anybody stay over unless they slept on the couch. But,
I remember some nights practicing in your garage in there.
Yep.
And you have a music room now. Yay.
I have a music room. It's a
Cool.
12 by 24 outbuilding that
Oh, cool.
I can store all my equipment and still have a place to play and set up my recording in there and stuff. And
Yeah. Sounds like we need to have a party at your house.
sure. Well, we had a party on July the 4th. I think that's going to be our party day over there. Is July the
good.
4th. We set up a deal and set up music on the front porch. Of course, with the mobile home, it's up high off the ground, and so the front porch is just like a stage. It's about
Very
Yeah.
cool.
It is
about-
a stage that day.
yeah. It's about 20 feet long and 12 or 14 feet wide.
And
so,
you're in the county, so you can set off fireworks too.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
can, yeah.
Yep.
So I want to bring people up to date too, as well as you making a major move. You and Debbie coming down and TC coming down and getting Southtown. You've had a lot of things go on health wise,
Yeah.
and kind of bring everybody up to
Yeah,
date on that.
Myself
who knows you.
and my family. I guess it was 2014. I started having issues with my hands, waking me up in the middle of the night with my hands hurting. And if you can wake me up, you're doing something.
Yeah.
Because she can bounce out of the bed and go, and I don't wake up. But anyhow, this was waking me up with pain in my hands. Yeah.
Friend, shut up.
She
Never mind.
bounces. She's got a
Okay.
step that she steps on
Okay,
now
I
because
got
she's kind of short. But
To rudely interrupt, there's a story in our family about him rolling over on a scorpion in the middle of the night, and he didn't know about it until there was a red circle on his back.
Oh, dang.
yeah.
My mom says,
thought
"What's
you
that red
slept
circle
on.
on your back?" He says, "I don't know." And they go look in the bed, and there's a dead scorpion that he rolled over on. In the middle
He
of the night.
smothered that scorpion.
And I didn't wake up. Yeah.
Didn't even wake him up.
Environmentalists will be shocked. At
Yeah, I
you,
know.
Craig.
Killing them little harmless bugs.
Accident. He
But,
rolled in a tree.
But back to the hands. When your hands hurt, it's hard to want to play guitar or bass
yeah.
or anything else.
Yes.
And I could sit down and write or do words and think about music, but it was a little hard to do. So I had carpal tunnel surgery on both hands. The details are gory, but no. They called me Frankenstein when I went back to work because I had it done on a Friday, and I
Yeah.
went back to work on Monday. I mean,
Did you have both hands at the same
both
time?
at the same time.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They said don't do that because of a certain thing that you're not able to clean yourself. But
That's what you got Debbie for, right? No.
yeah,
That's what they told him. I said, no.
There,
but I didn't have any problem with that
Yeah.
because when I got it done on Friday and the surgeon said, well, it went very well, and you ought to be able to take all the bandages off and wash them off on Sunday and go back to work on Monday. So seemed like no big deal, except I had stitches in for about 10 or 15 days.
Yeah.
But again, that kind of cramps your style. And
did you have to do a lot of physical therapy around that? Or?
a little bit of physical therapy for that one. Once they cut that deal off of there, that leader that goes across there, then it relieves the nerves and you can feel the nerves. I know y'all probably, the people here in the listening audience probably don't know what milliseconds are, thousandths of a second. Things that we measure computer speed in and stuff like that, and speed of injection in diesel engines. Well, when they do the nerve test on your hands, it's supposed to be a certain number of milliseconds that they put an electric shock up here and they can see it down here. And mine was like 4 or 5 times what it should be for
wow.
for that feeling of that nerve to get down there. And they say that most people have problems with these fingers and thumb more than they do these fingers. Mine was so far advanced I never felt the pain with the other fingers. It was always in my middle fingers. So
Wow.
but we endured that, and then I fell out of a truck at work, and
That's
you know,
never good.
well,
is a big truck.
You don't think about it. This is a 18-wheeler, a Class 8 truck that I teach how to work on and how to get in and out of. I didn't teach very good that day on how to get in and out of.
Yikes.
But if you think about things that you do all the time, in 40 years of being a technician, how many times have I climbed in a truck and climbed out? You know, climb in there and do something, start it or drive it or whatever,
Right.
and then climb out. And I'm just in my normal routine climbing out of this truck about 4 o'clock one afternoon, and boom, I landed on my face on the concrete.
Oh.
Didn't hit me, but when my hands landed kind of in a push-up position,
Yeah.
this arm held up. Maybe it's a little stronger because I'm right-handed.
Yeah.
This one didn't, and it went down and pushed this elbow hit the concrete and tore that rotator cuff. And so then in October of 2014, I had rotator cuff surgery. So again, I'm in a sling for 2 months, you know, trying to get that to heal. And when you love playing music like I do, and you can't do it for a while, you have to compartmentalize that to have something take over for it. You can't
you do.
You have to watch something on TV, or you have to do something or find an activity you can do to fill that space that's not there.
Right.
You know, and so I did a little bit of dubbing down. I've got a hard disk recorder that I took stuff off of it and put it on data on disk. So I mean, I had some stuff to do in the studio that I could punch a button and let it work, you know. And then I can load it back on there and, you know, change the recording. I remixed everything I'd ever recorded on on that recorder, because it's just, you know, moving levers, and it's something to do with music, listening to me play songs, and you know, and then I'd say, oh, I wish that bass part did this right here, but I can't make it do that because I can't play it.
Yeah.
But you know, make some notes of what you want to go back to. But
Yeah. So you got past that.
Got past that. My mother and one of my sisters has been sick off and on, and my mother's now in a nursing home. She was 87. Yeah, 87 the other day.
Where is she?
She's down in Divine, about 30 or 40
Butch
miles
Morgan.
south
Butch
of.
Morgan is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, same town where Butch is from.
Yeah.
And they knew him down there, knew of him.
I don't
guess.
see how Butch can live in a town and you not
people
know
not
him.
knowing
Yeah. He's one of a kind.
Yep.
I'm talking about you, Butch.
Yep. He knows it. He knows it out there. But then, and so, you know, that's kind of an obligation. When she got sick enough that she had to go into a nursing home, well, they had 18 acres down there and a 3,500 square foot house and outbuildings and cows and
Oh, Lord.
all kinds of equipment to sell that we hadn't done since my dad passed away. And so then the sisters and me and my sister, my wife, I mean, I'm the only boy. I've got 4 sisters, but we all kind of congregated there. Then you got to start having meetings about what you're going to do and how you're going to handle this stuff, and you know who's going to be the executor of what's going on. Not necessarily planning on a death, but we know that, you know, it's inevitable, and we got to liquidate this property. We can't just let it sit there and
Right.
go
Yeah.
down. So you got to list the property with a realtor, and then, you know, somebody's got to be there to show it, and then somebody makes an offer, and then you got to talk to 5 people to get some kind of agreement on what we're going to take for it and what is it worth. And Debbie has been in the mortgage business, and as well as one of my sisters is an underwriter, and so they kind of had some things on the ball to figure out what it was worth. And the hardest part about that was we went down there a couple of different times into that house. Now, we didn't grow up in that house. They moved there in 1980, so we grew up in Corpus Christi in a house, and they lived there 30 years, from 1950 to 1980, and I've got their sign off their house that says St. Clair established 1950. It's on my house now.
Oh, cool.
But that's my mom and dad got married in 1950, and so now we've got a house that my mother is not there to help us do something with the belongings inside of it. I mean, you know, 30 years before, and then 30 years in that house of family pictures and furniture.
We've
and
been through all
clothes
that,
and,
believe
yeah.
me.
We're still going through
We're
it.
still
I know.
sifting through things.
And, you know, stuff that we thought was somewhere and it's not there. And then we made a move a year ago, a little over a year ago, and we came up with stuff. Well, where's this picture? That picture that used to hang right there in the hallway, and we can't find it. You know.
Oh, wow.
It's with the missing socks in the
Yeah.
dryer.
Yeah, probably so. but to go through all that, and my sister and brother-in-law, my older sister and her husband, live about 6 miles away at Natalia. So they were kind of close to be able to. He'd go down there once a week and check to see if it needed mowed to kind of keep up the property a little bit. Of course, most of it was pasture, and Daddy had a loan on the Texas Land Bank. He had to assume the loan until the original price is paid off. You cannot sell that property for a profit.
Really?
So, yeah, it's a Texas Land Bank loan, Texas Veterans Land Bank loan.
I'll be darned.
And I mean, it was like it was 10 acres of that 18 acres, and I want to say the payment was like $51 a month.
Oh, wow.
For, I don't know how many years, 40 years or something, but it makes land affordable to Texas veterans.
Right.
And so we had to get in Mama's money in her business and sell that property before we could sell the whole thing as a whole.
Oh, dang.
So you have to, we had to, or not sell it, pay it off.
There's an order to things.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You couldn't just go down there and say, okay, somebody buy this property, and
Yep.
so, and then take the money and put it in her account with her investor, and for them to manage it until it's needed somewhere else, I guess. But
What a pain in the ass,
I know.
Dang.
Red tape, yeah.
Yeah.
And family meetings. I mean, I have a sister that lives in Houston, actually south of Houston. Another sister that lives kind of in Middle East Texas, over close to Houston. My older sister lives in Natalia. I was living in North Dallas. My other sister lives in Plano. So we're in, it's 300 miles between us to try to get together, and you can't do it over the telephone. We tried texting, and it's like, I'm sitting there for an hour a day texting, trying to get update on everything that's going on, and just hard to do. But
And then you got your brother-in-laws, and they want to stick their nose in.
There's that nosy thing again.
Yep.
So.
Yep, it happens.
So did you get some ideas for songs from all of this?
Oh yeah, and that's one thing I don't think I ever do is now when TC was, I guess, starting to come of age. So after he got, through elementary school, basically, we spent a lot of time doing baseball on the road, all over the place. We went to Europe one year. We went with a junior national team to Europe that he played on. We've been to Mississippi. Debbie took him to a deal in Vegas. So, I mean, we've been all over doing baseball. Well, once he went to college, it's like, oh, now I got some time. How about writing some songs? And that was about 2003.
Right.
And I hadn't written anything in probably 10 to 15 years, and I mean, it just started flooding out of me. I mean, I could write a song a day.
And then we meet you about a year later.
Yeah.
And boy, you were loaded with material.
I mean, it just comes
I remember
in floods.
sitting up there at Dunn Brothers, and you and I'd be the only two at the end. We used to be sitting there playing our songs.
The song off.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Well, you weren't with us tonight down at CJ's when Jim Nitschke did that.
No, I don't think so. No.
You should have been, because you'd have fit in.
Yeah.
But it ended up being like at 2 a.m. People have passed out all over the house, and we're still trading songs.
Yeah.
And he finally threw up a white flag.
Well, we did have, let's see, it was me and Whit, Paul Johnson,
Paul Zander.
Wanda Mullins.
Wanda Mullins.
And can't think of his name. Dennis Todd.
Dennis,
Yes.
Sat in one of those rooms up there at Drury and passed around the guitar and played songs till whenever we stopped.
Yeah.
I don't know that we even had a clock, but just
Well, yeah, I remember hearing about that. I think Dennis told me, I wish I'd had a recording of that.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
We recorded, but we didn't record everything that went on in the background.
No.
The funniest thing that happened up there was Mudcat again, though. When he ended up saying he wanted to stay over at Brian's house with us, and they put him on this bench it was in the foyer of the house.
Just like a pallet.
Yeah, and it was like, but it was like, he's a big guy, right?
Me and
And they
Randy
put
had
him
the
in
bed.
there, and they give him a little thin blanket, and like, this
It
is
was-
not
it was-
heated, and
it was
got
cold. It was
It
cold.
got really cold. It snowed.
And so I wake up in the morning, and He's literally got his teeth are chattering. He's standing at the coffee pot, and he's like got this thing around him. And he said, "I didn't go to sleep last night," And he said, I said, "Boy, I slept like a baby. I had all this cover over me in there, And I swear he has never let me forgive." And Helen said, "I don't understand why you didn't just go and tell Randy, scoot over." And he said, "I didn't know where he was." He said, he just disappeared into a room, and I went in there and I had all these covers. I was like anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, Mudcat.
But
you too.
one of the things that I've been doing, and I played with a blues band for a while. We came out here. And did a deal.
Robin was with you.
Yeah.
And that was fun.
Kind of when we started seriously looking at places to move out here, that took up a lot of time. And when do you go looking? You go looking on Saturdays. And so, I'd be coming back from Joshua over there, to run out and play a gig for an hour and a half. And it's like, it just got to be where it was too many things going all at the same time that we needed to handle that move. And then when you live in the same place for 35 and a half years, how would you like to have to move out of here?
No.
Reno's going to have to inherit.
It was just,
We find a 4-bedroom house worth of stuff in 2 bedrooms.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even the house, it was the storage.
We had a storage building
Yeah.
that had a lot of old music stuff when I used to have Stone Ridge Sound Company and
Right.
built speaker cabinets and stuff. And a lot of those old speaker cabinets, they're too good to throw away, but
Right.
a lot of them have been repurposed or had speakers taken out of them, put someplace else, and now the cabinets are there just, taking up space. And now they're at my new place taking up space.
Well, I'm glad you guys are south of town. I'm
I
glad you're back
am.
down this
I
way,
am.
and to me, if we could get y'all to just participate here a little bit more and be more a part of this,
Yeah,
it'd
hang
be
out.
all the
Yeah.
better, because we've been doing what we started with you.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
this is an extension of what began right up there.
Yep.
So don't forget that.
Nope.
When you say your prayers at night, keep us in prayer. Craig St. Clair, thanks so much for being here. Debbie, what? Go ahead, son.
Saturday night that we don't have anything to do. We'll come over.
No. That isn't if you wait till all the lights are on green, you'll never leave the house. Okay, that ain't the way this works. You put us on the calendar and you come. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
You're right. Oh, yeah.
But Craig and Debbie and TC, all you guys, thanks so much for being here and being back a part of what we're doing here within the music room. You've certainly been a part of it since the get-go.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Keep on tuning in. You're in the music room.